A jet so fast, it melted itself at Mach 3, not from enemy fire, not from war. It was destroyed by its own speed. And what you're about to hear is the real story the military tried to hide. Because this jet was just the beginning. If this sounds crazy, stay with me. Because what came next could change the future of every war on Earth. This is the SR-71 Blackbird, the fastest jet ever built. At Mach 3, it outran missiles. But at a cost. The skin, titanium plates stretching and bending in midair. The fuel, leaking on the runway, because the heat would seal it mid-flight. The pilots, sitting in a cockpit so hot, they wore full-pressure suits like astronauts. But here's the shocking part. They knew it would tear itself apart eventually. So why fly it anyway? Because the Blackbird's job was worth the risk of death. It was the only jet that could spy on enemies before they even knew it was there. But if this jet was so advanced, why push it beyond its limits? The answer will shock you. One mission changed everything. At over 1,000 degrees, the Blackbird's titanium started twisting like paper. The glass on the cockpit glowed red hot, and inside, the pilot felt the heat cooking through his suit. He radioed back, "If this jet holds together, it'll be a miracle." But the miracle didn't last. Sections of the jet's body started to crack midair. It made it back, barely, but the engineers saw what they feared most. The Blackbird's own speed was destroying it. So why didn't they stop? Why build something that could melt itself? The reason is darker than you think. The meltdown wasn't a failure. It was a test. The US military was already planning the next jet, one that wouldn't stop at Mach 3. They wanted Mach 6, maybe even Mach 10. In secret labs, engineers experimented with new materials, carbon-carbon composites, heat-resistant alloys, and something they won't admit exists. Even the pilots weren't told what their jets were made of. One called it flying inside a mystery. But if the Blackbird almost killed its pilots, who would risk flying this new monster? You won't believe who volunteered first. The first test pilots, they weren't just soldiers, they were gamblers. They sat in experimental cockpits, knowing one thing: if the cooling systems failed, they'd burn alive before they could eject. One pilot was asked if he was scared. He said, "Scared? No. Terrified? Absolutely. But someone has to push the edge, or we'll never know where it ends." And what happened? When they finally pushed to Mach 6, what you're about to hear was almost kept secret forever. The first Mach 6 test flight was almost a disaster. The jet screamed through the sky, glowing red from heat. The sensors spiked beyond anything they'd seen before. And then, silence. For 8 seconds, the jet vanished off radar. Engineers thought it had disintegrated. But then, boom, it reappeared, streaking back to base. The test pilot landed and stepped out, suit half melted, but alive. The message was clear: Mach 6 was possible. But here's the terrifying part. This wasn't the end. Because what they're building now makes Mach 6 look slow. Right now, engineers are working on jets designed to hit Mach 10. That's 7,600 miles per hour. At that speed, you could cross the entire US in 30 minutes. But it's not about travel, it's about war. A Mach 10 fighter could strike anywhere in the world before the enemy even knew it launched. And here's the scariest part. They're not just testing jets, they're testing autonomous jets. AI deciding who and when to strike. No pilots, no hesitation, no turning back. So which country will unleash this first? The answer might terrify you. Because at these speeds, one mistake could start a war. What if AI misreads a signal? What if it picks the wrong target? At Mach 10, there's no recall button. One military insider said it best: the next world war won't start with humans deciding to fight. It'll start with the machine making a mistake. And that's why the jet I'm about to show you next could be the most dangerous weapon ever built. Smash that like if this shocked you. Comment below, would you risk flying at Mach 6? Or would you leave it to AI? And subscribe to Modern Military Tech, because in my next video, I'll show you the fighter jet rumored to hit Mach 10, and the secret weapon project one country is building right now. Trust me, once you see it, you'll never look at war the same way again.